Hey, SEGways! For those of you that paid attention to my Kelsey Davis video may remember that since her and OmargoshTV were so close in the vote that I said I'd do a video on Kelsey and on Omar. I had planned to react to Omar and the fam in the Monroe house, since I've got a Monroe house expert at my disposal, who also did a great job on debunking Twin Paranormal when they visited the Monroe house. But before I started on this video, I started doing a little digging on who the fam was, since I've never watched any of his content before. Well, this sent me down a pretty deep and dark rabbit hole, so much so that I will have to shelve the Monroe house visit by Omar and the fam for another video, because what I found in this rabbit hole deserves to be a video in and of itself. Kinda like that Paranormies video I did. I was just going to do a regular reaction video to them, but then I went down another rabbit hole with them on that whole paywall site thing. So I apologise to anyone who voted for Omar. I will come back and do a video when Omar and the fam went to the Monroe house, at some point in the not too distant future. Before I kick off with all this, I have to stress that this all happened a number of years ago and it's not some big secret that I've uncovered. But what I will say is that I have found some things that maybe some people who are aware of this story may not know about. So I do believe The Shape and a channel called Rick's Debunks, which is no longer on YouTube, did talk about all of this a number of years ago. Since Rick's Debunk is no longer on YouTube, I'm not 100% sure on this is just what I've been told. So for you debunking veterans who have been following debunking channels for a number of years, you will probably be aware of some of the things I'm about to say here. But for those of you who are a bit more like me, who are a little bit newer to the debunking scene, this is going to be a very interesting history lesson on James the Fam.
Well, we're waiting.
So back on the 5th of May 2019, James the Fam was arrested for trespassing. This in and of itself is not so shocking, as James, Omar and a bunch of other urbex exploring ghost hunters used to get into trouble for trespassing quite often. Doesn't seem to happen so much these days though. But what's interesting about this one, well, since I have the police report of the arrest, maybe I'll just read it out. Before I read this out, I'm just going to explain who some of the people are in this report. So obviously we have James the Fam. I'm not so sure if his last name is known or not out on YouTube, so just to be on the safe side, I'm going to blur it out. We have Chelsea Luna, and I know her full name is known on YouTube because her YouTube channel is called Chelsea Luna, and a fella by the name of Alfred, who was a local homeless guy. And for obvious reasons, I'm definitely going to be omitting his last name.
On the above date and time, I, Lieutenant Hernandez, along with Detective Lampkin and Deputy Chief Jenkins, conducted a property check on 100 East Kennedy Boulevard, Hungerford Prep High School, due to recent property damage and trespassers found on the property. Upon arrival, 3 individuals were found coming from behind the fence in the northeast side of the property by the cafeteria that was chained and locked. The 3 individuals were identified as James, Chelsea Luna, and Alfred by their Florida identification cards, and Miss Luna by her name and date of birth. All 3 individuals stated that they were filming on the property due to hearing that the property was haunted. I pointed out that there were several no trespassing posted throughout the property, and also fences being locked with their chains and locks, which should be a clear indication that they are not supposed to be on the property. There was also a news story that was recently aired that stated that anyone found on the property would be arrested for trespassing.
The 2 next names I'm going to refer to as their first name because in the police report they put their surnames in.
Alfred stated that James paid him $20 to play a ghost in his video.
Say what?
I'm going to say that again because that's bloody hilarious.
Alfred stated that James paid him $20 to play a ghost in his video. Another indication that the subjects knew that they should not have been on the property was the fact that they parked their vehicle across the street from the side of the Family Dollar store. All 3 individuals were arrested for trespassing on school property and transported to the DRC without incident.
So this is pretty damn funny. James paid a homeless guy $20 to pretend to be a ghost. But as we get a little deeper into this, it gets a little less funny and a bit more serious. So when this arrest report became publicly accessible, It was known in the debunking channels, but of course, only the debunking channels would have ever talked about it. But it does make you wonder how on earth the fam still has a YouTube channel where he regularly uploads ghost hunting videos, and for some reason people still trust that it's real. Anyway, but what I think many of you may not be aware of is that Alfred, the homeless guy, who was paid $20 to be a rent-a-ghost, who was arrested along with James and Chelsea as part of their bullshit, had legal fees adding up to just under $300 and a bail bond of $500, which he obviously could not pay, and James did not pay for him. James, of course, paid all of his own fees along with Chelsea's, but Alfred was left in jail. So yeah, this is pretty disgusting. Because if you were pretty heartless, you could say, oh, Alfred knew what he was getting himself in for. But the guy is obviously desperate, and James took full advantage of that. And then when shit got real, James just went, you're on your own, bye, when he was the arsehole who got Alfred involved in the first place. What's also interesting is just 5 days after the arrest, Omar did a live stream where he talked all about this. So let's have a listen.
Somebody must have been, I don't know if somebody's following James around or stalking him. They seem to believe that there was somebody, I guess there was somebody outside of the school that they were investigating / exploring. And it was a homeless man. And this is from what James told me, that the homeless man might have tipped off the cops or something. And what's crazy is they even asked permission. They were like, hey, is it cool to be here? And the homeless man was like, yeah, go on in. You know what I mean? Kind of like lured him in. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe the cops had some kind of, I don't know. Maybe somebody's following James around and trying to catch him slipping.
So James and Chelsea have had 5 days to cook up a story on how they want to spin all this. And when they told Omar their side of the story, they went with the homeless guy tipped off the police, and maybe it was the homeless guy that told them that they could gain entry into this private property.
You lying son of a bitch.
Like that would have been any kind of defense, even if it was true. For James to make Alfred complicit in his lies, to get him arrested, to not pay his legal fees, and to lie by blaming him for being the reason James got arrested by tipping off the police is quite possibly the most cowardly, pathetic thing I've ever heard in my life.
Wankers.
So the next question I have to ask is Omar playing along here, or is he not aware that James in this moment is lying to him? And I know a lot of people have their opinions of Omar, some are a lot higher than others, but I honestly believe that Omar thinks what he is hearing from James is the truth here. But that's just my opinion. However, I think we all know that eventually Omar would have learned the truth. I just think in the moment of Omar doing this live stream, he believes what he's been told by James. So anyway, let's hear what else Omar has to say.
Like Orange County Sheriff, like, do you think what they did was right? Like arresting my friend, and I mean, just because he was walking on the property, he wasn't even inside. He wasn't caught with a hammer. He wasn't caught with a screwdriver. He wasn't caught inside. He wasn't even caught vandalizing this place. He was caught with a camera in his hand. And by law, from what I've been told by lawyers, is they have to give you a warning. They have to give you a warning. They didn't see, James is legally blind too. They didn't see any, and there was supposedly there was no sign. If there was a sign, maybe it was one sign or whatever that was hidden. But usually they have to give you a warning and let you go. I mean, that's the way I've always been told. I mean, unless the owners press charges. But I mean, I don't know.
That's the problem here, Omar. You don't know. The police report states that there were several no trespassing signs and a locked chained fence that they must have got behind somehow. Whether they were actually in the building or not is neither here nor there. They were trespassing on private property, and they knew they were trespassing on private property. And the argument that James is so blind that he may not have been able to see the trespassing signs, well, I don't believe for 1 second he's so blind that he can't see a chained fence. And even if that was the case, what's Chelsea's excuse? Chelsea can see perfectly fine. But Omar touches on something else here that's very important, and that's about the trespassing laws in America. Omar states that he spoke to a lawyer and the lawyer told him that the police should issue you a warning before there's any kind of arrest made when it comes to trespass. This arrest happened in Orange County, California, and trespassing is a crime if you enter a property that you are well aware you are not supposed to enter. This is why there were several no trespassing signs all over the place and a chain fence. Now, funnily enough, if they were in the UK, then yeah, trespass is considered a civil matter rather than a criminal matter. But in America, this is very different. I'm sure by now, Omar got himself some better lawyers.
You, sir, are a moron.
But this is where the James rabbit hole ends, right? It can't possibly get any worse than paying a homeless guy $20 to be a ghost, then getting yourself, the homeless guy, and your girlfriend arrested, and then you leave the homeless guy in jail, and then you lie about this homeless guy tipping off the cops that led to all of your arrests. Well, Yes, it can get much worse, because James is also a known scammer. James has scammed people out of their money by selling them dodgy computer parts. I found a couple of forums where victims of James' scam spoke out against him, so let's read a few of the posts.
Mr. James is a corrupt individual who sells computer parts all over the internet and never delivers the merchandise. He has been banned from eBay, TradeLoop, and Craigslist. His PayPal account even has been suspended, but he finds a way to reopen another one after he gets paid. He is the king of internet fraud. He sells fake merchandise. Please anyone, this is a warning that if you come across James, aka Jim, do not, and I mean do not, fall for his malicious tricks. I met up with him and found out that he is also a deadbeat dad and does not pay child support. Why would you tell me that? That's messed up. He also lavishes in strip clubs, like who cares, and he will brag about all of his stuff that he does. Who cares, and I'm not impressed with your slime and you're a disgusting man. I just want my money you took from my husband and me. You sold us damaged goods. We forwarded you money and you took it. He also screws people over at local computer trade shows. He was arrested but is now back in business and is looking to hire people to help him with his scam. $15 an hour, he says on his Facebook page, My New Business. You owe so many people so much money. When are you going to make good with the people that you took money from?
Let's read another one.
Well, I hired James to help me with a few computer projects and the guy just does not get it. He is a horrible communicator and a poor network systems provider. He is a lazy, incomprehensible worker and I can't see why anyone would hire this lazy SOB. He will bend you over backwards and nail you a new one. He sells computer equipment on the side and screws over many people. He borrows money from countless people and never pays back a red cent. He is very manipulative and wants you to feel sorry for him. He can't pay back his debts. He is a crook and a swine and a swindler. He owes so many people so much money. He used to sell computer parts, now he works for a computer production company. He is unethical and a poor excuse for a man. He won't pay back his debts and he won't fix the problems he creates. He will take your money and run, never to communicate with you again. He is a loser and a deadbeat dad. He is why this country we live in has so many problems. He cares about himself, not his friends and family.
So from this, we can scroll down to the comments attached to this original post. So as recent as October 8th, 2022, someone else posts,
James stole money from me twice. I hate you, man, you piece of shit.
Then in June 17th, 2021,
James is a fraud. James is a liar. James is a thief. James stealing money, playing the poor me boy on YouTube. Evil man destroyed countless lives with your corrupt behavior. Shame on you, James. Shame on you, James. Shame on you.
Don't fight it. Tell me how you really feel.
and there are so many more comments like this littered all over these forums of how James has screwed people over. And as far as I can see, James has not paid any of these people back. I could not find a court summons to make him pay this back. I was told that there is a live stream somewhere on the fam channel where James openly admits that he did scam people and apologize for it, but I cannot find this live stream anywhere, so I can't confirm if this is true. If anyone does know of this live stream, could you please send it to me, because I would really like to listen to it. But if it is true that James has apologized for scamming people, then I want to know, why has he not paid anyone back? Saying you're sorry doesn't mean anything if you don't actually try and make amends for your wrongdoings. Because it just sounds to me that James is apologizing because he got caught, not because he actually wants to make amends. So after this whole rabbit hole I fell down here, I'm actually just left with one question, and it's aimed at Omar. Omar, why would you still be making videos with the fam when he is a known scam artist, and he has gone so far to fake his paranormal content that he has paid a homeless guy $20 to pretend to be a ghost? So on that chipper note, please like and subscribe. Cheerio!